World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
This is Kia Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Good afternoon. Tony Rogers here, your host for Urbanology, the Art of War. I hope all is well. We're well into spring, so I'm looking forward to warmer weather. I hope you are too, but don't get fooled. It may be a little chilly again before it gets warmer, so hopefully we'll be able to, as they say, go with the flow. I have a very interesting guest for the show today. A couple of weeks ago, I was talking to my good friend. Actually, I was interviewing him on the WCR radio show, and Raymond Pickett, and we were talking about AI. And how actually AI in health, but we were just talking about in many cases how AI after a period of time may take us away from the human touch and create perhaps some issues. And then the concept of the Terminator came up, and as we were talking, Raymond said, "Well, I have a good friend, Sophia." And she actually is the person who wrote the story. She is the one that allowed for us to begin to understand that, even though she didn't get the credit for it. And not only that, The Matrix, which was always my favorite. And there's a lot of stories behind that, but I thought it would be interesting to talk to the person who actually created this to find out what was her inspirations on developing these two science fiction classics. So Raymond Pickney actually allowed for me to be in contact with Sophia Stewart, I talked with her. She agreed to be on the show, and I'm excited now to introduce Sophia Stewart, the mother of the Matrix and the Terminator. How are you doing, Sophia?
I'm doing excellent, and I'm going to have to correct you. I did get the credit, and I do own the franchises, both Matrix and Terminator. In fact, I got credited by two federal judges in the Utah federal courts September the 25th, 2014, where I won two default judgments, one against Warner Brothers and the defendants, and also one against my former attorneys that I sued in both that same court case.
Well, again,
And I'm not the mother of the Matrix. That's a tagline. I am the creator and the owner of the Matrix and Terminator film franchises.
well, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show because, as you know, there's a lot of misconceptions as to you, what you've done, how you've done it, and even as far as what you created. So that's the purpose, to be corrected. And today we'll leave here with a better understanding of that from their story, but from your story. So tell us.
Well, my story is all in the media. And besides the courts, I've done over 5,000 interviews. I interview regularly, quite often. And there's all this confusion and ignorance and lies, trolling on the internet because most people do not realize that the internet is a distribution platform for us to make money, but they're gossiping on it and not making any money. They're trolling on it and not making any money. But if you go to the news archives, which all very intelligent people do, or astute people, you will see in the magazines and the newspapers and the court docs, they are acknowledging me as owner and creator because I had a copyrighted script and a copyrighted book that was adapted into those films, which became franchises. So I created the characters, the graphics, the special effects, the dialogue, I'll be back, the red and blue pill, all of that was created by me. The Oracle, I'm the Oracle. My bloodlines is Cherokee and Portuguese.
Well, can you go back and give us what were the motivating, how did you get to the point of creating these science fiction classics?
Well, it's one epic story divided into two film franchises. And I was at USC. I have a degree in journalism, a double major there. I have a degree in law. I'm an attorney. I also studied to be a doctor, so I had majored in psychology to be a psychologist to help and heal people. And so what I did was I was looking for George Lucas. While I was at SC, I wrote The Matrix and Terminator. While I was at USC, I'm a Trojan alumni. And so I was looking for George Lucas because I saw Star Wars in 1977, and it said Lucas was over at 20th Century Fox. So I sent my copyrighted script and copyrighted book over there, which in the Third Eye book, you're going to see the court case of the first California case where I filed a RICO, which is a criminal case, because I was trying to put some people in jail. They wanted to buy the franchise from me, 20th Century Fox, Warner Brothers. They offered me, Schwarzenegger offered me $5 million for the Terminator copyrights. Warner Brothers offered me $5 to $7 million for the Matrix copyrights. But there were $4.11 billion. And this has been validated in the Utah federal courts by the rulings of two.
Yeah, your voice. We've lost your voice. Can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
That's quite
Can
all
you
right.
hear me?
I can hear you now. Now,
Okay.
when you were writing these two,
No, I was writing only one epic story that's been divided into
I
two
see,
film franchises. A movie is not writing.
I
That's
see.
something you guys need to understand, or people out there need to understand immediately. That filming is like you take your camera right now with and your phone with the camera, and you go out there and you start filming.
Hmm.
It's a film. It's called a derivative, but it's not writing.
Right.
It needs writing. That's why when the writers go on strike, you have nothing but reruns and repeats, and nothing is going on because you need writers. So, in order to make that film, you have to have a copywritten script, copywritten book to adapt, like Lords of the Ring book, Lords of the Ring movie, the late J.R. Tolkien, the Gravity book, the Gravity movies, the Maze book, the Maze movie. See, all great franchises or movies come from books or scripts or books and scripts. Source work. You take the book and adapt it into a script. You take this shooting script and you go out and you start filming the camera people.
What was the motivation for writing the story?
Well, when I saw Star Wars, uh, I was blown away that Lucas was actually talking about Darth Vader, the devil, and how the devil fell from the light side to the dark side. And that kind of like blew my mind because I thought about what if I wrote the second coming of the Christ? Because in Revelations, he said he would come back. And I thought, what would be going on when the Christ would come back in the future? And what I wrote was the second coming of the Christ, the evolutions of consciousness, man versus the machine. What would be going on in the future? Man creating his own machines, wrapped in flesh, killed but cannot be killed. Terminator. Now, the last visionary that you guys are still emulating was H.G. Wells, the late H.G. Wells. What did he come out with? He was born in the Iron Age, and he saw a robot or artificial intelligence as a metal clinkety clank. That's right, metal. So when you look at all the old science fiction, all you guys are seeing old metal robots. Even in Star Wars, Lucas had all these artificial intelligence. They were just old metal robots talking and
Mhm.
doing phenomenal things. But I come with the Terminator, wrapped in flesh, killed but cannot be killed, looking like us. No one had ever seen that concept because I'm born in the digital age. And what is the digital age? The simulations, Matrix. Do you see? So the Terminator End Time Revelations is the beginning of the epic story, where the machines in the future, here's the oracle prophecy that a baby is going to be born, and that baby is going to destroy them. And they know that the woman who's destined to have that baby is Sarah Connor. And so they have to time travel to kill her so the baby will not be born. And what happens? One of the rebels that are fighting in the future, the machines, Kyle Reese, hears the same prophecy, and he has the time travel to protect her. But while he's protecting her, he ends up falling in love with her, getting her pregnant. Now it's the Immaculate Conception because he has to go back to the future from where he came from. He can't stay in the past. And now she's pregnant with this baby by a spirit. Who? Because he doesn't exist. So JC, John Connors, grows up to be Neo, one and the same. Neo,
Wow.
Neone, the one. And in Revelation, who was calling Jesus the one but John the Revelator? So when you see the spiritual biblical part and the science fiction story, they're all one because Matrix come out of the King James's Bible, mentioned 5 times, Exodus 3 times, Numbers 2 times. It's a Latin word for the woman's womb, her stargate, her portal to bring babies into this world. I came out of the womb of a woman, not out of the ass of a man, but the womb of a woman. The difference between a man and a woman is not the vagina or the penis. It is the womb. A woman can have a baby and a man will never, ever have a baby. No breast milk, no feeding tube called the umbilical cord, no estrogen to extend the matrix womb for 9 months or 36 weeks. And there is no doctor that can give a woman a penis, much less the man back his penis, because once your penis is cut off, you can only sew back on the skin. No organ transplants. Isn't that amazing? There's organ transplants for everything in the body except for the penis. You can get a brain transplant, you can get a liver transplant, a kidney, you name it, but not the penis.
So all of this is basically science and biblical tale combined.
Well, yes, it's spirituality. Don't you remember in the Matrix where the rebels came up to Neo and said, "You're my personal savior"? Come on. Don't you remember they called him a hacker? What did they call Jesus but a hacker? The story is just done up in science fiction form, so the whole world can relate to it. But if you go into the Bible, the first story is by those authors, but there is no story until Sophia Stewart tells what happens in Revelations, what's going to happen in the future, where I'm talking about test tube babies, petri dish babies, artificial inseminated babies, gender benders, gender manipulated. Come on. Man is creating his own children. They're living organisms. They're organic, but they're GMOs, genetically modified organisms. And what are they in the future? They're the machines. Why? They're the clones. They're the drones. Come on. How many clones are walking upon the earth? How many drones have they built? How many test tube babies are walking? You see what I'm talking about? Artificial inseminated babies, petri dish babies, gender manipulated at birth, gender benders. This is all man, the devil, the evil upon the earth, creating his own children, but they're seedless, soulless, and they're just organisms like you eat a seedless watermelon, or you eat a seedless grape, or a seedless lemon. Everything that God has created has a seed or a soul of continuation. Everything that man has created has a beginning and an end. And not even the birds or the insects or the animal wants to eat a GMO. Only man see it as something desirable.
Very interesting, and very interesting as relates to the spirituality of all of what you say. With the vision that you have, what's your vision, or what's your thoughts about
my vision? You saw my vision on the screen.
Yeah.
The Matrix and Terminator are my vision. And when you read the 4 books that I wrote on Matrix and Terminator, you will read that vision in greater depth, because a movie is only a small fraction, only 1 minute and 36 minutes, no more than 2 hours and 15 minutes on the screen. That is a fraction out of a book. All fans know that if you see a movie you like, you want more details, you're going to go buy the book. Because you're not going to get the details out of the movie, but you know the book. Because look, I adapted my own book into a script, copyrighted it. I told you I'm an attorney, so I do copyright laws, trademark law. That's right. I do criminal law, which is RICO, corporation law, tax laws. I specialize in all of those laws. And I went after the people and I got them in the Utah federal courts. Now, they're embarrassed about that, but it was the David and Goliath story. And I've heard countless of times, but they do not want anybody that works for Warner Brothers to mention my name over there. Every time my name is mentioned, it hurts their feelings.
Well,
because they couldn't beat God. Every lie has to bow down to the truth. And there's one other thing I need to tell people. Mother of the Matrix is a tagline that a reporter gave me, but we're all females. We are all mothers of our womb. We are all mothers of the Matrix because we are the only ones that have this womb to have a baby. God blessed us to create and put our creation all over the earth. And the red and blue pill is talking about God's children. When you cut them, they're bleeding. This red blood is coming out of them. And when you damage a machine, blue and black ink or blue and black oil is the only thing that's going to come out of them. There will be no red blood. So if you take the red pill, you'll see how deep the rabbit hole goes of truth. You take the blue pill, go to sleep, die and kill for the lie, continue the lie, but it's not going to make you smarter. It's not going to make you happy. It's just a lie will put you in bondage. The truth will set you free. The lie will keep you in bondage.
do you have plans to create something on top of what you've done? I'm reading some of the questions.
When do you ask Apple that? Apple say, I continue Apple. Nike says, I continue Nike. Am I going to come out with a new product? Yeah, Nike says, I'm coming out with a new product. I own franchises. So what am I doing? I'm giving the fans more Matrix and more Terminator. What do I need to write anything else but to give them what they love? It's 2 to 3 billion fans globally around the world that love Matrix and Terminator. And guess what? I'm the only one that can give them what they want. How do you know? There's over 1,000 reviews on Amazon talking about it. 3 of my books are on Amazon right now. Google it, fans.
I know I just purchased The Third Eye. Could you talk just a little bit about The Third Eye?
The Third Eye is the first book that I wrote that was adapted to The Matrix and Terminator. Mm-hmm. Third Eye, Matrix, and Terminator. Look, the third eye, because on Earth, we have 2 eyes, we humans. We have 2 eyes. But look, on Earth, there's in the universe, there's a third eye, and that's the eye, all-knowing, all-seeing, and knowledgeable eye of God. And so it's the third eye matrix because we're talking about the people, we're talking about the eye of God, which is knowledge, and we're talking about the woman's womb that brings God's children here. So this is why it's called the third eye matrix and Terminator. And Terminator means end time revelations because when you read Revelations, it's talking about the end. That's where Terminator comes from. Terminator, end time, revelations. Because when you read Revelations, it's talking about the end. When you go to the Old Testament, that's our past. When you go to the New Testament, that's our presence right here, right now. And when you go to the future, Revelations, God has to explain that because we only can get a bit of the future each time.
Interesting.
Very real.
It's something to think about. At least for me, I'm sure with many of the people who's watching this, you've given some different things to think about.
Well, only I can interview. You don't see James Cameron interviewing anywhere. You can't even get an interview with them. You don't see Andy and Larry Wachowski's interviewing anywhere. They never had any sex change. They never had any legal name change because I asked for that in the courts. All of that's entertainment for you guys. Because you guys have never asked for any interviews because you're not going to get one because it's called a deposition. That's what it's called. Anytime you do an interview and you lie on that interview, it is a deposition and can be used against you because it's criminal copyright infringement. When you adapt copyrighted work to the screen, it's counterfeiting. Lil Nas X with Nike did such a thing. What did Lil Nas X do? He took a Nike shoe and counterfeited it and sold 666,000 copies. And then Nike came after him when he got the money because it's called damages. You don't go to court to prove you own Nike. I don't go to court to prove I own Matrix and Terminator. We go to court for the damages because if you steal a DeLorean out of the yard right now and you make $1 million off the DeLorean, the motor vehicle knows who the owner is. The Library of Congress knew that I was the owner. The trademark office knows that I'm the owner. You guys, common people, don't know. When you go to court, you're going for damages because somebody made money off of your work when you did not make a licensing deal with them. The government comes after you because they don't allow for people to counterfeit. So keep that in mind. You take a $5 bill and make it into a $50 bill or a $500 bill and try to sell it or whatever you do, it's counterfeiting. The government will come after you. And they're going to come after these people. Don't think they're not. Lots of people pay to stay out of jail. I can give you some names. Al Capone, he paid to stay out of jail for a long time. Bertie Madoff, oh my God, 20 or 30 years. Whitey Bulger, John Gotti. Everybody knows that when you reach a certain level of stealing millions and billions of dollars, you have to pay to stay out of jail. But after a while, that runs out, and it doesn't make any difference because RICO is like this. Every time you sell a Matrix or Terminator product, it adds 10 years for you to go to jail. In other words, the statute of limitations do not run out. It just adds to the offense, and eventually you might be 80 years old or 50 or 60 or 70 years old going to prison and dying there because you thought that your money got you off. Look at the stories on Al Capone. He was in there, and guess what? He was racketeering. He was killing people. He was doing everything that the government said, alleged that he was doing. He put his little CPA on the witness stand. The little CPA lied and said that, you know, he had all these companies that he was making his money from. Then the government says, well, then if he's making all this money from the company, well, where's the taxes? We didn't get any taxes. And they put him in jail for tax fraud, but he killed and racketeered a lot of people. And he died of syphilis the moment he got out of prison after he spent all those years in prison. He died of syphilis.
How does, are there other hidden messages that you have developed that the common people might not be aware of that you might want to share with them as far as this story that you've developed?
I'm not developed. I wrote and created.
Wrote it. Well, excuse me. Yeah.
The characters and the graphics, the fans are getting it. The simulations, the programming, they're getting that. The artificial intelligence, the AI, and how it's being used. I was talking about all of that virtual reality. I'm talking about also not just virtual reality, but I was talking about Apple before Apple even came on the earth, the iPhone and the tablets and where the tablets are going to be going. I was talking about drones, how the drones are going to be bigger in the future and how we're going to be using a 6x9 thin tablet that's going to take the place of everything. It's going to be our school. It's going to be our movie theaters, television, everything. It's going to be our stores. It's going to be, in fact, we're going to be living in these virtual worlds, and we're going to be in these huge communities. And I was talking about the chip way before Elon Musk was talking about putting the chip in the brain. I was talking about that 10 or 15 years ago. Anybody on YouTube can go and listen at my old interviews. I've been interviewing nonstop since Disney, ABC broke my story October the 17th, 2003. And I went viral and I've done mainstream, all the mainstream that people know, whether it's Essence, Vibe, Source, MTV, Black Enterprise, Rolling Stone. I could go on and on and on. And you can go to the archives and the news archives and the libraries, and you will see all of those interviews. You won't find them on the internet. You might find a couple or so on YouTube or, looking around, because they're trying to hide the truth from people. But when you hide something, the law says you will find it. So I'm not worried about that. Go out and get the truth. And that way you won't be fooled by the lies and the innuendos on the internet. Use the internet to make money. It's a distribution. Distribution means you want to distribute it, your product. You want to distribute it, whatever you're selling, whatever you're inventing, creating. That's what it's for, not to gossip. Mm-hmm. Can't make any money off of gossiping, okay?
There's a question. Are you mentoring so that your legacy can continue helping young people follow in your footsteps and understand what you've learned in your journey?
Well, it's not what I learned in my journey. I'm a shaman. My grandmother was a shaman. My grandmother's full-blooded Cherokee off of the Indian reservations of Missouri. My grandfather, Portuguese from Portugal, speaking Spanish, and my grandmother speaking her native tongue, Cherokee. They both met and got married. So I have the gift inside of me, the gift of prophecy. So when I'm speaking or writing or creating, this gift is going to continue. As long as any creator is on the earth, if Michael Jackson, the late Michael Jackson or Prince were here, they are the only one that can eclipse their work. We're the only one that can continue our work. Now, people can come and mimic us. What are they going to mimic? Some of our work from 20 or 30 years ago. That's all they can do is do that old stuff over and again, celebrating us. But they will never eclipse that work. So whatever you're a co-creator or like God with God, and whatever you have invented, whatever you have created here, the only one that can continue the work is the creator of the work. So yes, I'm going to always continue to create. I'm going to always speak about it. And if you read the Matrix 4 and 5 evolution, you're going to get the continuation of the work. Now, there's no continuation from Cameron. There's no continuation from Andy and Larry Wojcicki. They don't have anything with their names on it. They don't have any copyrights. They don't have any trademarks. Warner Brothers don't own any trademark. It was canceled because it's criminal. The government, anytime you apply for a copyright or a trademark or anything with the government under the penalty of perjury, if you put in somebody else's work or you put in some false stuff, they can prosecute you under the penalty of perjury. And if you think you got a driving license or you thought you got something, it's automatically invalidated and operative. The moment you lie on the application to apply for anything that the government is handing out, it's automatically void. And they're going to turn around and prosecute you at some point. If you're stealing or selling counterfeit goods, it adds 10 years for it to catch up with you. There's no statute of limitations at all.
Sophia, is it a rumor or is it true that there may be a movie about you being developed?
There are that. Let me tell you, a lot of people have come to me about movies on me, documentaries, but you have to be very, very careful who you do business with, because you never know who someone will send to make your image look bad. They might even send people to interview with you, because they did that a number of years ago with this Black guy named Power Booth. He interviewed me and came up with the $1 billion myth, calling me a myth. And of course, he got embarrassed in the end because he lied. I'm not a myth. I exist. I continued my work. He didn't expect that. He just got paid to try to sabotage me. So yes, it's going to be done, but it's going to be done through God. God will send the right people to do the right thing, so we don't have to go and get in bed with the wrong people.
Well, I can understand that, and based on where you have come, I can understand your feelings. It's an amazing story, and
It is really the David and Goliath story.
right. But I
People
think
don't
it was
believe
you
that.
that told me that Goliath really didn't have that much of a problem. He got rid of. I mean, David didn't have that much of a problem. He got rid of Goliath real quick. you
And
know.
so did I. And so did I. You guys just don't know about it because they've been hiding it. And all the people, instead of going to the archives, people have just been going to the internet like it's the news or something. Instead of going to the real archives and looking up the news and seeing the truth. But guess what? Like Tupac says, love me or hate me, you're still going to buy me. The controversy sells just maybe greater than the truth. Who knows? But there are those out there that want to know the truth, and then there are those that will take the blue pill and go to sleep and, hey, die and kill in life, you know, die and kill for the lie. Well, what can I tell you? It's all about free will. It's all about what you choose to do here. Whatever you choose, God doesn't even take your free will. So if you choose to tell the truth, tell the truth. If you want to lie, then hey, expect the consequences of a lie, because you get what you give in this world. You reap what you sow. So be careful what you do here and what you speak into existence. Watch your mouth, because God says the tongue is unruly. It has no master. Out of thy mouth come thy blessings, and out of the same mouth come curses or death.
Very interesting. And in the conversation I'm having with you, I'm sensing a great deal of spirituality. Is that more on your mother's side or your father's side?
Well, my mom has passed away, but my father is a very famous singer, very wealthy, worth over $400 million. But he doesn't want to be named. And I did inherit a lot of his gifts because he had some phenomenal gifts. He could do sports. He was very good in, as well as music. He just chose music. And he's a very phenomenal man. And there's reasons why he doesn't want to be cited. But I think that I got it from my Cherokee side of that's on my mom's side also. But on my father, we both have the same Cherokee and Portuguese on both sides. But I do believe that it comes from my grandmother who passed away. She saw a prophecy on me many, many years ago. And that's when I began to realize where I got this deep spirituality and gift from.
Interesting. When, where were you when you first realized that your writings had been stolen?
I was right at USC because, when I saw the movies, I didn't see the Terminator. The Terminator came out October the 26th, 1984. And my copyrights are 81, 83, and 84 because I told you I wrote Matrix and Terminator, one epic story while I was at USC. But I didn't go to the movies in the 80s because I was very busy with life, busy with USC. And I went to see The Matrix, which came out March the 31st, 1999. And when I went in and I saw it, I recognized my work on the screen and I was blown away because it's something to see your work on the screen. That is the most phenomenal experience. And I know all the writers, like I'll name some of them: Alan Moore, V for Vendetta, the late J.R. Tolkien, you know what I'm talking about, with Lords of the Ring. There's one that Cloud Atlas, David Mitchell. When you see your work on the screen, it's a wonderful, phenomenal feeling. So I called the legal department, having a degree in law, I called the legal department and they offered me money right away. So I didn't discover the theft until 1999. Then I went to the FBI because I come from a military law enforcement family. My family is super heavy law enforcement and military. I'm the only one that didn't do either, but the rest of them, yes. So I went to the FBI, they investigated the case, they saw the theft, they gave me the information because a lot of the agents said they didn't want their work stolen by Hollywood. And I didn't know what they meant by that. I thought, well, who would steal the FBI agents' work? You know what I'm talking about? They would be scared, look like they should be scared to do that. But no, they stole from the congressman's script once, what Hollywood did. They stole one of the mobsters, I think it was a Gambino guy that wrote a script. They stole his work. So they steal from the mob, they steal from congressmen, they steal from anybody. They don't care who you are. They will steal your money. So I learned something from the FBI. And the U.S. Attorney's Office got bought out. That's right. Greg Diamond and Elizabeth Ann Stevens, the prosecutor. They got bought out. They did not prosecute. So that's why I filed the RICO case in California, which I made a mistake because the FBI told me the most crooked judges and lawyers are in California. And that's why I filed my second court case in Utah. I was visiting some military brothers of mine at Hill Air Force Base. And so Utah has the Mormons, and then the Howard Hughes's lawyers were Mormons. They came to me and they say, well, you're up against the Scientologists. And they say, we're the only ones that beat the Scientologists. So let us come in. But I didn't trust anybody. I hired some Utah lawyers and they got death threats and they got sold out. And I had to go in myself and win the case on my own. And the trademark case I was doing at the same time.
Well, again, and you bring up something that's very interesting. The type of money that has been made on the Matrix and on the Terminator, there are people who have been eliminated for a lot less money. So it takes a lot of courage also to stand up for your rights because you are up against people who did not have too much of a problem in doing away with someone who stood between them and a large sum of money. Was your spirituality that allowed for you to overcome some fear of your well-being?
I didn't have any fear. You don't understand. God is real. David knew that God was with him, and we were not fighting against flesh and blood. We were fighting against principalities, powers, and authorities in higher places. The only one that can fight those battles is God. Man can't go up against that. So I was never in any danger. If you think I was in any danger, then you don't know who God is. Because David knew who God was. And you see how victorious he slayed many giants before he became king. So I was never fearful of them, not fearful of them or any man. The only man I fear is God himself. I bow down to the living God of truth. God told you the law. Every lie has to bow down to the truth. You cannot defeat God or truth. They know this, and they have to reconcile, and they have to open up and continue the message of God. And if you think that there's not going to be more Matrix and Terminator, but not garbage that you've been experiencing, not regurgitation, resuscitation, resurrection with John Wick, the warlord, or the warlock, or the witch, the male witch, not Tiffany with a husband and 2 children, not some naked man that has the old Joker's suit on, and not Naomi, some old general that's 80 years old. That is not the Matrix. That is not the continuation of the Matrix. And all those garbage Terminators, that's all they are. Garbage. Garbage. Get Matrix 4, 5, Evolution, and get more Matrix and Terminator. Get the real. Read what the five-star reviews where the fans are talking about it. They already know. If I wasn't the real thing, they'd want to hang you. The fans. The fans will come in and do you away with if you don't give them what they want. You can't give them a fake Nike. You can't give them a fake Samsung. You can't give them a fake Apple. They know the real thing. Come on. They know the real thing. They know the real Matrix and Terminator. So why would you want to lie to the fans? You can't fool them. Ask Taylor Swift, her Swiftie fans. You got to give them the real thing.
Where do you see yourself this time next year? Where would you like to see yourself?
The bankers have already said they would give the money for Matrix 5 to continue. They've already said that. So Matrix 5 is going to come out with me and Warner Brothers. Not them with some director that's going to write his own garbage, because you can't write anybody else's work. You can't create anybody else's work. You can only create your work upon the earth. And when you leave, that's the end of that work. You will get no more of that work. You will only get regurgitation, resuscitation, resurrection of it. But it will not be, it will be mimicking the work, but it will not eclipse the work. And all the fans are waiting for the next episode of the work. Read the book, because a lot of them are saying they can't wait until they see it on the screen. Wait till you get the book and read it. That's more Matrix.
And I want to now ask you to come back on the show when this stuff, once I read the book and once Matrix 5 becomes, the reality that it will be, I would like for you to come back on. But you're saying people can buy the Matrix 5 book to kind of see look into the future, so to speak. Is that what?
Yeah, it's called Matrix Evolution. It's no 5 because the movie will be the 5th movie. That's the numbers of the movie. There is no 5. The book is called Evolution, but it's enough to adapt into 4 and 5. You see it on the screen. Because what you do is you take the material and make it into a shooting script, and you continue to work with the shooting script, and then you put out a 5th movie. Because the one that they put out for 4 is regurgitation, resuscitation, resurrection. That's garbage. It's not the Matrix. The fans wanted their money back. I think they lost $189 million off of the garbage. And they can't afford to come. They have to do it with me. They can't afford to come back with another fraudulent movie. The fans will go to the government, and they will have them prosecuted. You can't take somebody's money and give them a fake Nike. You can't take somebody's money and give them a counterfeit. You can't take somebody's money and give them you know what I'm talking about? Something that's not real. That's called fraud. They have to do it with me or not at all. And the fans know this.
Well, and as you mentioned, it will be you and Warner Brothers?
That's right. It'll be me and Warner Brothers that's going to come out with the 5th movie. And, I found something out, too, that was amazing. I found that I met one of Michael Bay's girlfriend, and she told me Michael Bay is a big fan of yours. Do you know we made love to the Matrix movie? And he is gone on the Matrix. And I'm going to put it out here. Michael Bay, if you hear me, why don't you direct the 5th installment of the Matrix? I know you done already read Matrix Evolution. You done got it off of Amazon. Anybody can expedite it in a day or two. And Michael Bay, Transformers, come on. Matrix would be a big feather in your cap, because this other one that they're talking about, Drew doesn't have it. I looked at his movies. What a vampire! What it was that Buffy and the Vampires, and with Brad Pitt, Z movies. That's your talent. But Michael Bay, I think you could add something to the Matrix doing Transformers. You know what the machine world is all about.
A lot of this is frightening as relates to what the future brings in many cases with all of this artificial intelligence. But I suppose it is what it is.
Well, I was going to say, I think Michael Bay can win an Oscar just like Christopher, what's his name? Christopher Nolan?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you remember Christopher Nolan won an Oscar? The Oscars.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think Michael Bay could win an Oscar for the Matrix 5 Evolution. Because Evolution is about the new machines, Michael. About the new machines that are coming that Neo has to deal with. Because now it's a greater threat. Because when you look at the first Matrix and look at Agent Smith, bring him back. But now he'll be greater than what he was before, when I made him a multiple of power to the 10th power, that he kept getting more and more powerful as he fought and challenged Neo. That was all about math, quantum physics, calculus, ancient sacred geometry. Come on, Michael. You can win an Oscar for Matrix Evolution, the 5th installment. Come on, Warner Brothers. You lost so much money off of the writer's strike. You don't have any more franchises out there. You guys have lost every franchise. Hey, I know all the bankers, they're counting the money. It can make hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. Come on, you want to do it.
Well, you heard
That's
it
why
first.
You offered me $30 million for the shooting script. I'll give you the shooting script for $40 million. I'm saying it live on his show. $40 million for the shooting script, Evolution. You can do it with or without me. It's still going to make money because it's more Matrix and Terminator. Come on. But use Michael Bay. Use Michael Bay. That's a winner. That's an Oscar right there.
Well, I'm glad.
And the shooting script will get original script. It will win more Oscars. Matrix won 4 Oscars before. It will eclipse those 4 Oscars this time, because you guys already read the book. Everybody's read the book in Hollywood. The only people that don't know what's going on here is the common people. Common people with everyday lives don't know what's going on. But all the celebrities and all the Illuminatis, because I got Illuminati, villain Rothschild, and all the mobsters, they say, Sophia, the mobster, Sophia, we love you. You have big kahunas. I said, I don't have any big balls, but I know some men who have some. You guys.
Well, this has been a very spiritual interview. Thanks to you, Sophia. I am happy that you agreed, because I know so many people are trying to get to you. I have a great deal of gratitude for you giving us a little time on Soul City. I also want to have you back. I have already ordered the third eye, and then with the Revelation, so I'll have the 2 bookends in a sense.
Oh yeah, when you get Evolution, you're gonna be blown away. In fact, after you read Evolution, I'm gonna be on your show, So Quick, So Swift, because it's a shame that you guys didn't read the books, the 4 books on Matrix and Terminator. Look, if I wasn't the creator and the owner of Matrix and Terminator, there's no way I could be selling it around the world, making licensing deals with Matrix and Terminator. I can't sell any Apple. I go to jail. I can't sell any Samsung. Go to jail. Nike, come on. They'd come after me. I can only sell what belongs to me. Matrix and Terminator. And guess what? The 4th and 5th installment is eclipsed everything that you've seen on the screen. On Matrix and Terminator.
Well, again, I learned a lot in this short period of time that we've had. I would like to extend an invitation for you to come back. I'll make sure that I have read both of those books so that I can be better prepared. And I wish you all of the best. I am a fan. And Warner Brothers, I hope they're listening, But
oh, they are listening. Are you kidding me? And where do you think the word that Schwarzenegger made him famous, "I'll be back"? Where do you think that come from? That is verbatimly from me because he comes back as 3 different cyborgs. So I'm going to say the famous line that I created that he still owes me money for when he was campaigning and he had to shut up using it. "I'll be back."
I have used that so many times. I mean, I think a lot of people probably owe you money because
a lot of people owe me money for that.
That term, that saying has been used more than I can remember. And again, thank you for allowing for us to appreciate this spirit that has come through you to us. And we want to continue, and we will. I can't wait to start reading The Third Eye, which is the beginning of all of this.
It's where it all began. It's where it all began.
And now I have an understanding, and whoever is watching this will know that the Matrix and the Terminator was all one thing. And
that's one story, one epic story. And divided into 2 film franchises.
And based on a spiritual belief.
That belief of God and God's children versus man's children, the machines. That's where the story comes from. It is inspired by God, and it's a true story. It's incredible, and it has 2 to 3 billion fans. And go to my website, matrixterminator.com or truthaboutmatrix.com. And everybody in the foreign countries, or if you want to expedite it, go to amazon.com. Get the books and read them, 4 of them. All 4 on my website, 3 of them on Amazon. Find out the truth on your own. Don't read the gossip. Don't look at what the trolls are saying. Find out for yourself.
Truthaboutmatrix.com.
And matrixterminator.com.
And Matrix.
And Amazon and Barnes and Nobles and Nook Press. It's all on all of these different distribution platforms. Get it. It's 8 billion people out there. Come on, people. You know you love Matrix and Terminator. And I was at the Oscars 2020. Anybody want to see that the media already knows me? I was at the Oscars. Maybe you didn't see me, but they are acknowledging me as the owner and creator of Matrix and Terminator film franchises at the Oscar 2020. And when I went with the late Joe Jackson in 2015, he told everyone, the media, that it was the Jacksons who discovered me. I wrote Janet Jackson's first feature film script during the 80s. So it was the Jackson family I've known over 30 years who discovered me.
Well, again, thank you for this conversation. It was very encouraging, rewarding, and spiritual. We'll have you back. Please keep in contact with me, and I want to hopefully get an invitation to the premiere of the.
You will, and it will be with me and Warner Brothers. Trust me. I'm just praying that Michael Bay will be the one that directs it. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, because I admire his work.
Copies of this show to Michael Bay so he will stay on. Thank you so much, Sophia Stewart.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
An incredible person, and I'm so glad that we've had the chance to meet. And I will definitely be in contact and stay in your orbit.
I definitely will be in
Thank you.
And the Matrix. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Take care. And wow, what a conversation. what a conversation. An incredible woman. And all of the things that we have been able to experience from her writings is it's incredible. Even though, as she said, they tried to repeat something that could not be repeated, which is why the franchises started to lose money, because they were coming from someplace that was not the source of the basic foundation of the story of the Terminator and the Matrix. So I'm glad. Thank you, Soul City, for giving us a platform to hear the real story from the person who did this, and we'll have her back. So again, thank you for listening. We'll be back soon. And again, Harlem Week is very close now, and I'm going to start doing some special shows. I've already asked my good friend Lord Williams to be on the show, and we're going to talk about a 50-year journey at some point. I'll make sure that you're aware of that, as well as some other people who have been on the journey. So take care. Thank everyone for watching, and we'll see you next week.
This is Kia Rogers, and you're listening to Urbanology with my dad, Tony Rogers, on WHCR 90.3 FM New York.
Urbanology.